Thanks for watching this short video. QuickBooks Online, it focuses on how to pass through time, material, and expense on a job or a customer. And you need QBO Plus in order to do this, and I'll explain it because there's a few things in settings that'll be important. And QBO Plus supports two-sided items, since a lot of the sales transactions and things like an estimate, and sometimes you're purchasing non-inventory parts to bring out to the job, you want an item that can hit cost of goods sold or cost of labor or something like that, as well as revenue that you can use on expense side of transactions as well as on the invoice or a sales receipt. Now I have the customer information window up. I've just added a job. Really, it's a sub-customer. Wouldn't really use job terminology within QuickBooks Online Plus itself, but you notice that I can, I have this general job and it's for this general customer. And I choose to bill with parent. And that's helpful so that if I'm getting a bunch of payments from the main entity, right, then I would see the invoices of the subsidiaries. So let's look at those settings first, and we'll look at a product and service, and then we'll tag some stuff to this customer or sub-customer, I should say, and pass it through to an invoice, and then maybe at the end even look at a profitability report as well. So I'm going to go to the gear icon and accountant settings. And once you get to the accountant settings page, click on advanced. It's one place you want to go because you'll want for time tracking, right, since this is a pass-through time, expense, and material video, you want to make sure that's turned on. That's another reason why you need plus. This adds the service field, which would be the item field of timesheets, and this allows me to make something billable to a customer, or even to check off the box that's billable to pass it through. For those of you who used QuickBooks Desktop, very similar in theory, and then set your work week, etc. So you have that one, and then go to expenses, the expense setting, where you'll see show items table on expense and purchase forms. We want that, so it's not just about accounts, although I could tag an account and pass that through as well. Track expenses and items by customer, and then make expenses and items billable. So Essentials will not have any of that, or Simple Start. You need to have Plus for that. And finally, if you are doing an estimate and then you want to create an invoice against it, you got to check this box, copy estimates to invoices. And if I go back to expenses, kind of jumping around here, sorry about that. We recently added the ability just to take estimates a little further, though this really isn't a video on estimating. A lot of times you'll start with an estimate or a contract, right? Copy estimates to purchase orders, also helpful. Now let's go to the gear icon and products and services. Let's take a look at the framing item. And that's what we'll be doing. Let's edit that item. Notice it's single-sided. So I want to check the box, I purchased this product and service from a vendor. This will make it two-sided. And then the cost to me. And then you can choose your appropriate cost of goods sold account. So now my framing item here, right? Here's the income account. It's actually a sub income account of construction income, and then I have cost of goods sold. What goes to the customer as far as what I charge them, and then of course the cost to me per hour or what have you. So that's helpful with two-sided items. I also have an appliance that I typically bring out to the job. It's non-inventory, and that also is double-sided item. So if we go to the plus sign in the upper right QBO, and let's say there's an expense involved, and we'll do some time and pass that through. So Gregory Baxter, he's the subsea vendor that I happen to hire. So down on the item details section, this is why you need plus to have this. I have that framing item. He did 8 hours at $15 an hour, and here is where I can tag the customer. I can do it to the particular job of that customer. And what you'll also notice is I can make it billable. So that's if you want to pass it through, and you can do a default markup as well. That's also in the settings. You can just do maybe a 25% for now. If I just want it to show on the P&L and filter that by the customer, so profit and loss by job, if you will, or show some profitability of the job, you can just tag the customer on all your expense type transactions, or a bill, expense, a check. All that would behave the same way. So you don't have to pass it through. If you have an estimate already and your customers agreed to pay that amount, you're just going to create an invoice against the estimate. So you can just tag it for profitability. But in this case, if you want to make it billable and pass through, that's the billable piece. And again, you can come in your accountant settings and expenses to choose a default markup rate. So we're going to make it billable. And of course, you can tag your classes here if you want, and your territory or location, put in a memo or an attachment as well. And this is a posting transaction. We're going to go ahead and click Save and Close. Now also, I have some time I want to tag, the plus sign under employees. We'll do the single time activity, but I could do a weekly timesheet, and you don't need to have payroll turned on in order to access time in QBO Plus, but you do need plus level of QuickBooks Online. So again, Gregory does some other stuff. You can tag location and the class. He did some remodeling work. And for this same customer, just do a search for him, general job under the general customer, framing again, right? So bill at this, whether I'm creating a bill for him or writing a check. Remember a time, there's no way to track labor burden. You need to do a journal entry for that. So you just use a $0 journal entry for that because there's no customer field that you can tag on a paycheck. So, but in my case, he's just a sub C, not part of the payroll system within QBO. So I'm just going to cut a check or enter a bill. But typically, it's a check for him. And this bill box will make it billable. Right? If you're not, then just tag it so that when you do create a check for him, that customer information would show over and would go on the P&L. I'm going to make it billable and click Save and Close. Now, I need some material. So I'm going to go write a check for this one. Or you could do a bill. Really, same kind of thing. Again, I could do account details and tag the customer as well. Right? You could see that and make it billable to pass that through. But in my case, I'm just dealing with items, and that's the appliance I was telling you about. It's a non-inventory, but I'm going to get 2 of them, and I'm going to have that general job, general customer really reimburse me. So I'm going to make it billable. I'm going to click Save and Close. Now, going to an invoice and then some visibility here, including a little bit of profitability for the job. I click on Sales, and I can go to either customers and search for that particular job and look at their record. And you'd see the billable expense charge, time charge, and other billable expense. I think I used a check for that. Or if I go back to customers and then all sales, this would be the sales transaction window. I can filter for unbilled activity. And then I can filter for a particular customer and it'll show up that way. Another way to see it, look at all transactions for this particular sub customer. Might as well do your quick typing, general job, apply that, and you would see transactions that way. Also, you'd be able to see it on a report, review sales under all reports, and you'll see unbilled charges. That's another place to look for particular transactions, time charge, billable expense, things like that. See for the general job. Of course, you can customize this report as well. So this report would be helpful too. Now, let's just go to the invoice. I mean, there's many ways I can start it, but I also like showing the drawer. So if I go to the invoice and I type in that particular job, you have all the stuff to add to the invoice on the right. And I can filter by time or expenses. I can choose to group the time or group time by service. I can look for all dates. And I'm just going to, here's the stuff that we tagged to this customer to pass through. I'm going to click Add All. And now this is going to create an invoice to the general job for this general customer. The balance due will be $825. So I'm going to click Save and Close on that because we have some expense already. And I think I even paid Greg for some of the time. And if we go to reports and look at your all reports business overview, or you can find, business overview, or you can customize the profit and loss under accountant reports. But there's a P&L by customer, and I'm just going to click to customize it immediately. And I'm going to filter when you customize it for the particular job itself. So if you scroll down, look for general customer, general job, and I'm going to do it for today, run the report. And now you can see the profitability that I have, profit and loss by customer.